Truth Seeker Learning here. All right, today we're going to talk about equations with more than one variable. Now, in algebra, occasionally they ask you to isolate a variable when you have more than one in an equation. So in this case, they want you to solve for x and y, whichever one they give you. This says 5x equals b. Our job is to isolate the x, because that's what it says. So how can we get x by itself? Well, we can do that by using the negative inverse, or the inverse operation. I shouldn't say negative inverse, the inverse operation. Then what's presented there. So in this case, this says 5x equals b. So that means 5 times x equals b. So let's do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So we'll divide by 5. Cross out, bring the x down. And in algebra, remember I told you, whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other. So now you're going to bring the 5 to the other side. And really, I cannot divide a 5 into a b, and a b cannot be divided by a 5, so you just bring it down. b over 5. That is your answer. Well, the whole thing is your answer. X is b divided by 5. Now this says Sx equals 8, excuse me, not 5. Sx equals 8. So it's the same thing. I just wanted to show you that you could have two variables. So now I'll divide by s, because this says s times x equals 8. So the opposite of multiplication is division. And it crosses out. I put an x there, and then I do an s here. 8s. X equals 8 divided by s. Okay? I don't know what that means, really, because I don't know what s is, and here I don't know what b is, but that doesn't matter, because your job is simply to isolate a variable, whichever one they tell you. And this happens all the time in math. You'll see this on SAT problems where you're supposed to isolate a variable, and you get a solution that isn't necessarily a number. It doesn't matter. Okay. This one says ry equals 5. So it says r times y equals 5. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So then we're going to divide by r. To get rid of it, bring the y down, and now put the r on the other side. Then I'll bring it down. So it's s divided by r. Y is s divided by r. Two variables. Now if we knew what the variables were, well then we could come up with something, but we don't, and it's not necessary. 3y equals t. 3 times y equals t. The opposite of multiplication is division. Divide by 3. Y equals, put the 3 over here. T equals t divided by 3. So y is t divided by 3. Okay, let's do some more. Okay, that's a little hard to get off, that green. But I thought it would be fun to have some colors, a little more interesting than just black all the time. X plus 5 equals r. Okay, let's do this. X plus 5 equals r, and this is x plus a equals 7. Let's do this one first. Well, our job is to solve for x or y. So there's an x there, so I'm going to isolate it. Now, how do I do this? Well, I'm going to move this 5 out of here. If I move him out of here to the other side, I'll have x by himself, won't I? Okay. How do we move something with an addition or subtraction symbol next to it to the other side of an equal sign? Well, we do the opposite inverse. So in this case, it's negative 5. And then I'm going to bring it over here. Now, let me bring the x down for a minute. But the minus 5, I cannot put it under the r. You don't put it here. Okay? That's a mistake. So don't do it. You put it next to the r. So I'm going to take him and I'm going to shoot him over here. So it becomes r minus 5. So if I bring it down, it becomes r minus 5. So that's your answer. X is r minus 5. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Let's do another one here. There's a little more room here. So x plus a equals 7. So my job is to isolate x. All right, how do I do it? I have to move the a out of the way. How do I move that a? Opposite inverse. minus a, cross it out, Again, minus a does not go under here. Okay, that's wrong. It's going to shoot over here. You don't have to draw the arrow, I'm just drawing it to show you. And it'll be minus a. X equals 7 minus a. X equals 7 minus a. Okay? Alright, let's do harder ones. But those are fun. Now again, I've always told you this in the videos, you can stop the video when I put up a problem, see if you can do it, if you think you know, and then test it after I solve it. Okay. 3x minus e equals r. Alrighty. Now our job is to get the x by itself. Well, this is going to be 2 steps. The other ones were pretty much 1 step. Well, they were 1 step. This is 2 steps. So I have to isolate, first of all, the x, right? But the x is attached to the 3. So let me get the 3x by itself. I'm going to move the e. And I'm going to do it through the opposite inverse. Move this guy over here. So this becomes 3x equals r plus e. Right? Because I moved him here, the plus e. Because you can't put it underneath the r. Don't make that mistake. All right. Now, what do I do next? Well, now this says 3 times x equals r plus e. Well, we don't know what x is, and we don't care, really. We don't know what r and e are. It doesn't matter. Our job is to isolate x. So how do we do it? Opposite inverse. And the opposite of the 3 times the x is divide. So divide by 3. So x equals r plus e divided by 3. That's it. That's your answer. Now, I know it doesn't make sense in what you're used to, getting a number, but that's okay. All right, here's another one. This one's fun. I think this one's fun. M equals 2 times x plus n. Now, I told you in algebra, especially with addition and subtraction, algebra equations with addition and subtraction, you have to distribute first. So I have to distribute this 2. Boop, boop. He's going to get distributed to the x and the n. So we have m equals 2x plus 2n. Because I did 2 times x is 2n, 2 times x is 2x, 2 times n is 2n. Now, my job is to isolate this x. Okay, and the x is attached to that 2. So I want to bring the 2n over to here to get him out of the way. He's got to get out of the way. So I'm going to bring him over here. And then this is going to be 2n negative, well, you know what? All right, I can do that. I'm going to just make it easier. M minus 2n. You can do that. Or I could write negative 2n plus n, but I think I like it like this. And it doesn't really matter. In this case, equals 2x, excuse me. So m minus 2n equals 2x. I'm not done, still have to isolate the x. And this says 2 times x. Multiplication, what's the opposite? Division. So I'm going to divide by the 2 to get rid of it. Divide by the 2. So then, what's the answer? Let me bring it over here. It's m minus 2n divided by 2 equals x. That's your answer. That is your answer. Okay, let's do another one. I hope this is making sense to you at home. Stop the video, watch it again and again and again, and watch me do it and see what you can come up with. Let me do a little blue here. Have a little fun here. Here's another one. cy minus d equals 4. All right, let's see. cy minus d equals 4. This says c times y minus d equals 4. Okay. I want to isolate the y, because that's what it says. So the y is attached to a c. So I'm going to hold him for a minute there. Let me get that d to the other side. I got to get him out of the way. I want the cy by himself. So I'm going to do the opposite inverse, which is plus d. Bring him over here. cy equals, let me put him there so you can see it, 4 plus d. Now I'm not done. I want to get rid of the y. So I have to divide by a c. This goes. because it's multiplication, I do division, you should know that by now. And then it's y equals 4 plus d divided by c. Okay, that's your answer. And most teachers will want you to circle the answer. Well, let's do a harder one here. Let's see if we can get a harder one. Because these are not too bad. I can't make this video too long, but this will be interesting here. ABX minus D equals 5D. Okay. Well, I have to get the x by itself. And that x is attached to a b, and that b is attached to an a. And that really says a times b times x. Whatever those variables are in regards to numbers, they represent numbers. Whatever they are, we don't know. And we don't care, because in this particular topic, we don't have to know. I want to get that d to the other side. So then the abx could be by itself. So I'm going to go plus d. Now, what's interesting here is I can put it under here. Why? Because they're both d's. So they do go together. See, when variables are different, they don't go together. When they are the same, they go together. Let me bring the abx down. 5d plus d is 6d. All right, great. 6d. But I still don't have x by itself. Well, in this case, which is easy, you just do the opposite inverse again. But in this case, we're going to do both numbers, both variables, ab. So it's ab. So x equals 6d over ab. That is your answer. A little more complicated, but whatever, that's going to happen. And there's nothing you can do about it. Complexity is an inevitability in math. Here's another one, and we'll end it with this. And we can always do more videos on this, but I know you guys like more than one example. You know, I don't like when books teach you how to do something and they give you one example. What good is that? You need multiple examples because we learn through repetition. You know that, and I know that. Now I want the x by itself. Bx equals 9b2, b squared. Don't be afraid of the b squared. So I want to get that x by itself. So I'm going to divide by b. Bring the x down. And in algebra, what you do on one side, you do to the other. Divide by b. Now wait a second here. They're both b's. Well, that means you could do something with it. All right. I'm not done yet. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I hope you do. And if you don't, I'm telling you now. When you divide variables with exponents, because every variable by itself has an exponent. Because you're probably saying, hey, truth seeker, there's no variable there. I mean, there's no exponent there. Yeah, there is on this b. There's a 1. You don't have to put it in. Every variable by itself has a 1 in front of it and a 1 exponent. A 1 coefficient and a 1 exponent. So there's a 1 here, invisible, and there's a 1 there. Now, when they're divided, you just subtract the exponents. So this is really 9b to the first. Well, 9, you can put the first, but it doesn't. You don't have to. It's really 9b. That's it. Because what I did was I subtracted b squared minus b1. And I got b1. Because 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay. So this is equations with more than one variable. All right, I hope this was a good video. Remember to stop the video and do these at home and see if you can get the correct answer. Okay, have a good day. Bye-bye.